So now it's time for us to start dealing with the backend, and for this we're going to use Node. And before I start showing you how to install it, Node is basically a backend server that runs on your computer or the server where you're serving your website from, and it does stuff like handling the background connections, routing different API paths, and yeah, a lot of stuff. And the thing about Node is it's written in JavaScript. So if you look at the example here, all of this is JavaScript code. But instead of running in a browser like normal JavaScript does, Node actually runs on your main system. So this allows us to do things like read and write files and work with system stuff as well as the browser stuff here. And there's a few differences between Node and regular JavaScript, but for the most part, all of the skills you learnt in JavaScript will apply here as well. It uses the same functions and stuff. So to install this, we need to first search for Node or Node.js, and you'll find this link here which takes you to the download page. Now, if you're coming from my React tutorial, you already have this installed, so there's nothing for you to install here. And on the right hand side here, it just gives you an example of what the code will look like. But in this course, we're not going to be writing directly in Node. We're going to be using something called Express, which just makes this a lot cleaner to do, and we don't need to manually write the headers and stuff like we see here. It's just a bit quicker to use Express. So let's go ahead and create a folder here. So I've created this folder here called Node, and this is where all of our Node projects will exist. So in here, if you're coming from the React video, I told you that you don't need to create your own folder for each project, but with Node.js you do need to do that. So we're going to create a folder for our new project here. I'm going to select new folder, and I'll just call this YouTube. And we need to go inside of that folder and right click and select open in terminal here. So once this is running, I just need to type npm init, and this will begin creating our Node project. And it will ask you a few questions here. The first is the package name, and in the brackets here it says the name of our folder. So that's the default value. I'm just going to leave it at that and hit enter. And then it's asking for the version. So this is not really important with us. We'll just leave it at version 1 because we're just starting to create it now. And then a description for our project. So I'm just going to say test here. You can also just leave this blank, it doesn't really matter. And now it's asking us for an entry point. So an entry point is basically what file do we want to start running the server at. So by default here it's going to start at index.js, and I'm going to leave that at the default now, but I do want you to remember what we typed in here. So we want to remember that it's going to start at index.js. And that's the entry point to our application. I'm going to hit enter here. And for the test command, I'm going to leave this blank as well. And then we have no get repository, so I'm leaving this blank, no keywords. And for the author here, you can write your own name, or you can just leave that blank as well if you don't want to fill anything in. And then it asks you for a license here. Now I'm just going to use the default license that they recommend, but if you want to use a different license for your project, which if this is a real project you probably do want to change the license here, you can just type that in here. And okay, next is asking us for a type, and by default it's using CommonJS. Now I actually want to change this to module, so I'm going to type here module and hit enter. And now it's showing us all the changes that it's about to make, and it's asking, is this okay? I'm going to hit enter here. And now if we look inside of our project folder here, we can see it has one file. So this is the basic layout of a Node project. But if you remember, we said that our entry point is index.js, and it actually didn't create that file for us, so we need to create that ourselves. So I'm going to open this up in VS Code. I'm going to say code dot, and here we need to create a new file and call it index.js, just so that we have our entry point file created. So basically when we run the server, this index file here is what's actually going to run. Now let's look at that package.json file to see what it created for us. This is just all the stuff it asked us for when it was creating the project. And here we can see the main file is index.js. And down here under scripts, this is what we can actually use to run the server. We can see that the only script we have here is test. So in our terminal here, we can do npm test. And we can see that it echoed no test specified. So that's the only thing we can do right now. So let's add in a new script here to run that index file. And to do this, I'm going to go into the script section here and add in a new thing. And we're going to use our quotation marks here, and I'm going to type start. So this is the name of our script, start. And then we need to use a colon here. And the command we're going to run, I'm going to put this in quotes as well, is node index.js. And we need to add a comma at the end here because we have two items in here. So they need to be comma separated. And this node index.js is the command that starts up our server. So now by typing npm start, in the background it's going to run node index.js and start up this index file here. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to put a console log here, console.log hello world. And now if I save this and head to our terminal here and do npm start, we can see that it says hello world here. And the reason why it says hello world is because here we defined start to run this command node.js, index.js, to start up this index file. And basically we can change this to whatever word we want. Start is just common, but we can even change this to banana here, for example. And now the command will be npm banana. Actually, we need to run the word run there. So we need npm run banana. And now it will run that script index.js. So it's easier to just use the word start here because it's more common. And yeah, that's the basic setup of our node project. So now that we have this set up, in the next video I'm going to show you how to actually start a server here and the commands we can use. But for this video I just wanted to show you the basic layout of a node project, how to download it and install it, and yeah, how to set up your basic project. So I'll see you guys in the next video.